All right, so back on the parts ram. All right, so we have the whole front suspension is removed, and that was kind of our goal. Nothing really looks bad behind up here on the frame. I mean, it does kind of look like it's turned a little bit, but if you pair across, the whole thing is that way. Same in the front. So, but right now that stuff's all kind of hard to tell. So we have everything tore apart here. The big thing that I need to see is to be able to get in here. I want to move this over close to my building because I do have the gaskets coming for these exhaust manifolds, and I'm hoping that I don't see no cracks in the manifolds when I get them removed, as I have found out that that is something that happens. But hopefully it's not on this. All right, so I took the time to get the right front suspension removed off of this frame. Now this is a 2006, but everything is the same. I'm not sure on the outer spindle or the bearing itself, but I had fun getting this off. Okay, just pick these up. I haven't really messed with anything here in a couple days because we've had some very sweltering heat. So I had to come in here. I had some issues. This bolt here would not spin in the rubber, so I had to get in here. We cut through it, and then we kind of dinged this forward here just a little bit so that we could get access in here to be able to get it out, because I ended up cutting and grinding through over here on this side. I actually nicked into some of the alignment, even though this frame here is technically still good and usable. So let's go over here. Let's take a look at this control arm, show you a little bit more of what I was playing with. I just shut that door. The air compressor. Now, this bolt did not want to come out. All right. Funny as it is, we have both bushings from the wrecked 2017. So I believe this is the front one. I don't know if there's a difference or if they're exactly the same. I mean, this one here does kind of look like it's a little larger. So I believe it's actually, this is probably the front one that has more dirt. So this would have been the rear one, which is the one that we're removing right now. And I'm gonna hope that it's gonna fit into this control arm, as they are listed the same. So what I'm doing here is, if this happens, this is the best way to do this. I basically put this down here. I'm drilling this out. Sometimes you can just knock them right out with the air hammer. But what I'm going to do here is I'm getting the center out. I got the rubber out of the way, so I'm going to take this and then I'm going to ding this shell in, fold it in on itself, and it'll fall right out. Then I'll double check the size, and I'll clean the inside of that out with like maybe a wire wheel, and we'll press in the bushing. Then we can get this onto that, and that will move under its own power, because it runs and drives basically. It just doesn't have a front suspension on it. So this is where we're at. I mean, like, the upper ball joint and stuff is not the best. We're not installing the axle for four-wheel drive as it is laying over there. All that stuff does, actually, it looks okay. So like I said, I'm going to drill this out right here the rest of the way. We're going to get this center out, and we're just going to go to town with the air hammer and twist this out, and then install and insert our bushing. It is very common for these. This one here does not want to move. I did, even like this, trying to get it to move, I actually broke a wrench. So I put it on there and I tried the jack underneath of it to undo the nut and get this to spin in here. We did spray it down with PB Blaster and some other solvents and let it soak. Came back a day later with no luck. but this has to be the worst one. Especially if you have one of these that you're driving and you need to replace this control arm because you have issues. This is definitely not what you want to do. So I'm going to get the rest of this thing out of here. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm hitting it with the air hammer. All right, here's our center. Let's get this knocked out of here. All right, not fun, but it's out. We've got a big mess to clean up here. I'll have to clean these up a little bit here with a file, and then it's pretty easy to see where the bushing has to be set when it gets installed because of where the marks are. Okay, so I was able to get it started here, tapped in with a hammer. I'm going to try to move this heavy sucker over to my press, see what I got set up. So I'm hoping I can set it up onto this bucket, go around this with the arm, set it here. Right now it's 4.5 inches, I have 5 here. So hopefully it fits in, we can get cranking, we can get it pressed in. Then I'll take both of these, turn them in, and support the arm and press it the rest of the way. Let's cross our fingers. Okay, so if you notice, we do have a front suspension under the truck. It got pretty dark, so I just kind of took it on my own here, and we got everything bolted up. I mean, it's just, everything's left loose, as you can tell, because all we're doing is moving this thing. But I've got some news for you. We've actually were able to pull this thing forward. I think one of the brakes were actually locked up on this side because I had to go forward and back a little bit. I ended up tossing some stones, but I'm going to actually just wild. This one sticks out because the track bar is bent under here pretty good. Somebody actually hooked to it, so it's bent, but that was like that when I got it. So it moves. So this gives us the ability to pull this over into the garage. We can get the exhaust manifolds off now, and actually replace the gaskets. I think I'm gonna get oil and a filter. If that stuff does sound good after that, then at least I know that this thing will have fresh oil in it after I get it pulled out. And kind of just, you know what I mean, go that route. So far so good. I mean, it's happy to see that it's moved under its own power. I've actually got to get, I'm gonna move this thing. I'm gonna get in here because I drug all these stones with my trailer. So I'm gonna back drag this area here a little bit with the tractor. And yeah, I mean, it's just pretty wild. I did vacuum up all the glass because I could actually get these doors open, you know. So we got in here, we did get the jack out, we dropped the spare, everything worked for that. We did have a bunch of glass in here, so like I said, we did clean that stuff out. I found a NRA hat underneath the seat, which is pretty cool, I guess. Got a box there to throw some bolts in when the time comes, but We got a little bit. We're not going to clean anything too crazy because we don't know what we're using, but you definitely don't want any glass coming out, falling in your yard or anywhere. So I usually just try to vacuum that stuff up. But it rolls, it moves, and that to me is just freaking awesome.